Welcome to It's Candy, where we tell spooky stories and haunted history. Stories that I found on the internet that spooked me, but in a good way. Let's get into it.
Hey, what's up, YouTube? And everyone else on the other social media platform. Today, we are going to be doing a story. So, you know who it is, your favorite storyteller. It's Candy, back with another one. This one is going to be called The Wineville Chicken Coop. Now, this story is about serial killer Gordon Stewart Northcott. He was born in Bladworth, Saskatchewan on November 9th, 1906, but was raised in British Columbia. Now, allegedly, his father sodomized him at the age of 10. This is what Gordon has said. He moved to Los Angeles, California with his parents in 1924. He asked his father to purchase a plot of land in Wineville, California. He did it. And on their land, they built a chicken ranch and a house with each other's help. Now, Gordon's father was in the construction business, so he knew everything was going to be built properly. They both also had help from his nephew, Sanford Clark. Now, he moved down with them as well with, the permission of his parents, of course. And this all took place in 1924. Oh, and the nephew is 13 years old. Now, this is kind of going to go a little bit fast, but, not too fast, you guys. So sorry if it sounds like I'm just jumping straight in, because this is one of those stories where you just jump straight in it, right? Now, I guess things started happening with Gordon's father because he had to be institutionalized in a mental asylum. I couldn't find any information on why, but he did eventually commit his own unaliving while he was there. Now, during this time, one of his uncles that was serving a life sentence for an unaliving in prison had passed away also. So in 1928, the town started buzzing about a string of child abductions and unalivings around the town. One in particular is what kicked it all off. On March 10th, 1928, a 9-year-old boy named Walter Collins disappeared. His mother had given him some money to go see a movie at a nearby theater. And no, his father wasn't around because he was in prison for a robbery. Now, during this time, the LAPD was already under investigation for several corruption scandals, and their inability to locate the child was quite embarrassing, to say the least. It's crazy how way back then the police had a bad rep, right? Now, the police chief, James Davis, was under a lot of pressure to solve the case. And even after searching all over, he was still not found. Now, I want to pause for a minute, and I just want you guys to know this is going to be a hard one for you guys that are very sensitive to, especially things happening with children. So I just want to give, this little disclaimer first, so you guys know this will be a hard one to listen to, okay? So back to it. Of course, his father, the little boy who, was missing, was informed of his missing son, while he was in jail. And he thought that because he worked at the prison's cafeteria and that he was responsible for reporting to other inmates infractions, i.e. the prison snitch, basically. He thought this was a revenge attempt due to the enemies he made. So basically, he thought that they were coming after his son and, somebody had kidnapped. I bet he was going crazy because he just couldn't even go out to help to find his boy. He didn't know what was going on. I bet he was losing his mind. Now, several tips did come in, but nothing turned out to be useful. A gas station attendant reported seeing a foreign couple with an unalived body wrapped in newspaper in the back of their car when they stopped. He claimed to have followed them until they sped out of town. When police showed him a photo of the boy, he said it was him. This was in Glendale. It could have been, like I said, because it was several tips. So, when tips come in, sometimes people just saying stuff just to say it and they don't even be true. So you really don't even know. So Walter's disappearance wasn't the only one. 2 boys named Nelson and Lewis Winslow, they were brothers, 10 and 12, went missing on their way home to Pomona on May 16, 1928. Their parents received strange letters from them stating that they were heading to Mexico and they planned on staying missing until they became famous. Crazy, right? Now, I don't know how the world worked back then, but it just doesn't sit right with me allowing kids so young to be out on their own, walking the streets, going to stores to buy food, stuff like that. Now, don't get me wrong. I know it was hard times and all hands need to be on deck. I just don't know. I mean, it was different times, I guess. But that's just something that's crazy to me. I would never. Okay, especially the world we live in today. Now, the police didn't connect the two disappearances at first, as well as the case where deputies found a burlap bag containing a headless body on February 2nd, 1928, in La Puente, California, in a ditch. It was a male teenager who had been shot through the heart with a .22 caliber rifle. The police also received complaints about a man mistreating a young boy at his poultry farm. Going back to the beginning, huh? It was paid no mind, though. See, this is why people talk badly about cops, because why y'all not doing y'all job? This probably could have been caught early on if they would have just did some police work, you know? Oh, I forgot to mention that the two boys, the brothers, who supposedly was sending letters to their parents, went missing in May of 1928 also. In August of 1928, way in Illinois, police picked up a boy who told them his name was Arthur Kent. He told them his father abandoned him and they placed him with a temporary family. He eventually told them that his real name was Walter Collins from Los Angeles and that he had been trying to protect his father. Now, this is going back, to the first boy who was reported being missing. But how was he protecting his dad, right? And he's in prison. Maybe what the dad feared about retaliation against him has some truth. So the Illinois police contacted the LAPD and they contacted Walter's mom, Christine. And they showed her the current photos of him they took to let her see proof that he had been found. But she immediately told them that he is not the same person. He is not her son. They talked her into letting him come back with her. Maybe, she thought he was unalived already and had started a grieving process and just couldn't believe it. They were thinking maybe she was just in total shock. He hadn't been found. People do that. Or, like I said, it could be like that movie, The Changeling, with Angelina Jolie, to where she was convinced that he was a copy of something else, something sinister, not a spirit, but something supernatural. Now, 3 weeks after Christine and Walter were reunited, she brought him back to the police station with his dental record and signed statements from people the family knew, all saying this wasn't him. So the captain told her she was a lunatic, basically, and said she just wanted the state to take care of her child and that she was just trying to embarrass the LAPD. Damn police with their nonsense and hurtful, nonchalant, don't give a damn ways, right? So he threw her in a psychiatric ward in the LA County General Hospital on a code 12, which was what they used back then to get rid of troublemakers. Crazy as hell, right? How you just gonna sit up here and tell me that I'm not saying that this ain't my son? I know my son, I gave birth to him. I know this ain't him. And then y'all gonna tell me I'm crazy? See, that's why people hate the police, like I always say. Now, going back to the original story about the original family that we started off with. So the sister of Gordon Northcott's nephew was just learning of all the things going on in the state and feel the worst for her brother. So she made the journey from Canada, that's where she lived, because we moved by state, they were from Saskatchewan, to Wineville, California, to be sure he was okay. When she got there, her brother revealed to her that his uncle, Gordon Northcott, had been beating him and sexually abusing him as well. That poor child. He also told her that beyond these horrific crimes, his uncle also took to abducting young boys and sometimes forcing him to assist him, and that when he grew tired of sexually abusing the boys, he would release them, except for a few of them. He would use quicklime to dispose of the bodies after unaliving them. So Jessie Clark, Sanford's sister, knew she had to get him out of there, but she had to be smart and strategic. So she called their aunt in Canada, let her know everything, and the aunt, Miss Winifred Clark, contacted the U.S. authorities and told them that he had been kidnapped and was being held hostage, and told them exactly where they could go to find him. This was all in September of 1928. And at this time, Sanford was now 15 and Gordon was now 21. So Jessie, which is a sister, didn't find everything out immediately. She did stay for a few days. Her nephew told her brother, Now he told her on the flick slide so nothing bad would happen to her. See, Stanford knows how they operated there. So he knew he had to be smarter than them. I'm sure they were watching him also like hawks to see if he would snitch them out. But the uncle did wind up attacking his sister Jessie, though. Now, once the police arrived, because she called, Sanford told them everything. He also let them know that he was forced to watch Gordon abuse and even unalive the few children that he didn't let go, including Walter Collins, Nelson and Louis Winslow, plus a Latino boy in La Puente, California. And pause that, because remember, we talked about all of them, right? The one in the Latino boy from La Puente, California, and then he was the headless boy that was found, right? Well, Walter Collins, remember, his mama is currently, at this time locked up in an insane asylum because she told the people that wasn't her son. It was like, like I said, it was like that movie Changeling. It was somebody in his place, but they didn't want to listen, right? When he went to unalive them, he would take the boys into the incubator room to see the baby chickens hatch and unalive them with the axe as they was watching. He said they both got rid of Walter because he witnessed Gordon unaliving his mining partner. Yes, Sanford was forced to help him commit this act. So wait a minute, telling you anything. Christine Clark telling the truth the whole entire time. One believer. So the question is, why did he get a replacement, right? The others didn't have one. Maybe because Walter was walking at the movie, to the movies when he witnessed the unaliving, and Gordon knew somebody might have been looking for him. I don't know. I'm just guessing here. But who the heck is the little boy who was replaced there as a stand-in? Is my question now. Sanford let the police know that the bodies were buried by the chicken coop, and the axes were found among other farm equipment, and they all had human hair and blood on. So he didn't clean them out. Some of the graves were just bone, due to the quick rot. Pathologists were able to determine that they were male children. When the police went into the house, they found a book that belonged to one of the Winslow boys and more letters to their parents that was written. I guess he made them write them before, unaliving them, trying to throw the parents off the scent of them being kidnapped or unalived. Just diabolical, right? And remember, one of the parents had stated that they had got some weird letters before, right? And this was from the two brothers' parents, remember? Remember what happened to his father, Cyrus George Northcott? Well, at some point before he passed, he said that Gordon told him about the unalivement. That's what he told the police just 2 days after they ran through the ranch. But of course, him and his mother, Louise Northcott, had skipped town. Okay, I was wondering where the mama was during all of this. So let me tell y'all, during all of this happening, Christine Collins was still telling people that the boy wasn't her son. She didn't let the fact that they put her in the mental ward stop her at all. Of course, they didn't believe her still until a handwriting expert came in to analyze their writing styles. The expert concluded that his handwriting did not match the samples provided. Now, pause. So the crazy thing is, all this going on, they done admitted that they unalived her original son, right? So why the hell ain't nobody let this lady go? Why is she still in there? Why does she still have this imposter child with her? What the hell is going on? That's again, what the hell was wrong with the police? LAPD had a bad rep, and this is the mess they had going on, okay? The boy eventually told the truth and admitted to having several different aliases. His real name was Arthur Hutchins, 12-year-old, who assumed Walter's identity because someone told him he looked like the missing boy. The reason he did it, you ask? So he could go to Hollywood to meet his cowboy hero, Tom. Ain't that some ish, right? His stepmother picked him up picked him up and took him back to Illinois once she was contacted. Wasn't nobody looking for this boy. His stepmama didn't give a damn about him. What about his actual parents? Nobody cared to look for him. There was no concern for this runaway's well-being. I mean, just silly, right? Silly as hell. Maybe there was, though, because they are on different sides of the U.S. The news didn't get any attention. So he didn't have any remorse either, the boy, Arthur. He had no remorse, just so y'all know. He told the police that Christine must have known that he wasn't her son and that this was just a big game for them both. Little boy. And he said she knew he wasn't hers, but no one would believe him. No one would believe her. And she said the same thing. And like I said, the stupidity behind the LAPD told her, it just told her everything she needed to know, basically. And, the officers, they told her she was crazy, damn near cursed her out and put her in a psych ward for it. The things these people did back then. Now, they, of course, finally released Christine once the whole handwriting analysis came out and the little boy wound up telling her the truth. But man, I know it hurt to think that your child is home found, and then you find out an imposter is there, and later find out that your baby has been unalived by a sicko who tortured him this whole damn time. I feel so bad for that lady. She filed a lawsuit against the LAPD and this captain, J.J. Jones. He was the one, who said all that mess about her. Of course, y'all know she won and was awarded $10,800, in which she never was paid. Ain't that something? That is a damn shame. Hit to you guys. Now, she attempted to collect it several times. She even took him to court in 1941 to collect $15,562 judgment. So come to find out, what I was talking to you guys about, the Angelina Jolie movie earlier, this movie is actually based on her story. Crazy, right? Now, back to Gordon and his mama on the run, okay? They fled to Canada near Vernon, British Columbia on September 19, 1928. Now, because of errors in the extradition papers, they weren't returned to LA until November 30th. While in holding, Sarah confessed to the unaliving. Yes, you heard me. She was helping her son Gordon be a piece of trash. What a mother, right? Before they were extradited, I guess she got scared because she retracted her confession. Now, it done been said, girl, okay, the damage has been done. We all heard you in the back, baby, okay? But when she got back to LA, she confessed again. I guess she said that I've told them now, so might as well just stick with it. They didn't try her, though. They just went ahead and gave her life imprisonment on December 31st, 1928 to spare her a death sentence because she is a woman. But so what, though? She didn't spare them kids' lives, did she? She tried to spare her son's life, though, by saying he was innocent, that she was not his mother, but actually his grandmother, and that he was a result of his father and their daughter that her and the husband shared. Not that now, that isn't too far-fetched, because there are tons of stories about that happening all around the world. And she stated that as a child, Gordon was sexually abused by their entire family. Sarah told them that she was the one who did the final blow that unalived Walter Cox. Now, that same month, the police took Gordon back to the ranch in an attempt to get more information. While there, he verbally confessed to 5 more unaliving, but on paper, he only admitted to 3, which was the headless Latino boy, who now has been identified as Alvin Gothea, and the Winslow brothers. Alvin was one of the farm hands. That's how he got that little boy. Gordon's trial began in January of 1929, in which he fired all of his defense attorneys and defended himself. The ball's on him, right? He admitted to abusing young boys because he loved them. His mom even testified for him, stating everything she told the police. His defense was a strange one because he wasn't an attorney. The trial ended on February 8, 1929, with him being convicted of the unalivings by first degree and was sentenced to death by hanging. Now, once his mama found out the fate of her sick and twisted son, she attempted to unalive herself and begged the authorities to spare his life, stating, "I got a square deal. If they'll just be good to my boy, if they just won't hang him," end quote. Then she begged them to hang her as well. His sick ass was hanged on October 2nd, 1930 at San Quentin State Prison. So when the guards was walking him to the gallows, he was screaming and trembling, asking if it would hurt. He had to be dragged up 13 stairs to the noose, telling them to please don't make me walk so fast. Sir, you deserve every piece of what you are about to get. I mean, what the hell did you think would happen when you chose to live the type of life you live? Now you want pity? Man, hell no. Then, before that trap door swung out to hang his ass, he gonna tell them to say it. Sir, no, you don't deserve no prayer. Now, the town wound up changing its name to Mira Lorna, California. After all of that, they just didn't want to be associated, to that horrible occurrence anymore. Now, that happened on November 1st, but in 1935, just 5 years after Gordon's execution, a boy and his parents came forward, saying that he had gone missing 7 years earlier and that the parents reported it to the police, and they speculated to the parents that he may have been a murder victim of Gordon. Now, he somehow escaped from the chicken coop to where he returned to his parents. But Sanford never said anything about anyone getting away. So we don't know how true that was. Now let's get back to Sanford. Oh, no, first, let's get to his mom. His mama paroled in 1940 and died in 1944. Now, back to Sanford. He wasn't tried because he was believed to be a victim. I believe that also. He was so afraid and being sexually assaulted and tortured by not one person, but two people, Gordon and his little raggedy ass mom. That boy endured that daily for years before being free. He was recommended to Whittier State School to be part of an experimental program for delinquent youth. He had to be there for 5 years, but his sentence was later commuted to just 23 months since he impressed the trustees with his temperament, job skills, and personal desire to live a productive life. When he got out, he went back to Saskatchewan and lived there until he passed in 1991 at the age of 78. So sad. Unaliving all these children because you're sick. Then you getting help from your mama because she's stupid and sick. You're hurting your own family. Like I said, incest and stuff like that back in those days. And it's just so sad. The police couldn't even be on people's side. I mean, it was a whole woman who had a whole imposter child. The police just threw her ass in the mental ward and said she was crazy and she know what she's talking. Then try to say, oh, you just want the state to take care of your child. What? The things this world, has come to, it's crazy. We still going through crazy stuff like this now. But that's it for this story, you guys. We'll be on to the next one very soon. I hope you enjoyed it. This one was a lot. I do apologize if it did, if it was sensitive to some people. Catch y'all later.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos coming at you from It's Candy.